What can you tell me about your schoolboy football career for Stockport Boys in Cheshire?
Oh yes, the Stockport Boys. It's where I came to live at Tippetdale on the Lancashire Hill. You know, it left me living in Cheshire and going to school in Lancashire. So it was a bit awkward that, you know, but we sorted it out, you know, and I enjoyed going to Edgeley Park, of course, you know, as a schoolboy, you know, it was a great thing to be doing, and we managed to get into the final of the schoolboys matches, you know, and I was playing then on Edgeley Park, you know, with the schoolboys.
How old were you, George, at that time?
I'd be about 13.
Wow. And that was the school's final?
That was a school final, yeah.
Wow. And do you have any memories at all of that, of playing at Edgeley Park? Because it would have been the wooden stand in those days, you know.
Oh yes, that's right. Yeah, I was. It was just being able to play at Edgeley Park, the place where I used to love kind of style. I used to love to go to see the games, you know, in those days. I was playing in the school team, and then I went on to play into the Cheshire County Schoolboys, and we won the Cheshire County Schoolboys trophy, but we managed to lose in the final at Edgeley Park with the school. So that was that. So
what year was that, George?
Probably 29, 30.
So when you went to Manchester City, you were an apprentice, George, weren't you?
Yeah,
you were a junior with Frank Swift.
I was only an A-team player with Frank Swift, yeah. And Frank Swift, of course, we were very friendly at the time, you know, and when I heard what had happened, you know, when he was in the do, you know, with the players, you know,
at Munich.
At Munich, yeah, yeah. When I was working at the time, and it just about broke my heart, that did, because we used to get on very well together, Swifty and me.
And how did it come about that you went to Manchester City as an amateur? Did they come and see you play and ask you along for trials?
Yes, that was the thing, and I used to go to training at because I was working at the time as a boy, and I used to go training on Tuesdays and Thursdays at Main Road, and went on doing that for quite a while, actually.
So how did it come about that you signed for Stockport County, George? What happened there?
Well, Westcott was it?
Freddie Westgarth.
Yeah, Westgarth. Yeah, he was a manager there, and he'd been looking after me, like, you know, because I'd played a few games in the A team with Stockport County, you know, so he knew what it was all about, and as soon as he found that I was available, you know, he came and signed me up, you know, and gave me a contract. So.
Wow. And how old were you, George? Do you remember?
Not really. No, I don't remember. I don't remember how old I was at the time.
I think you must probably have been about 18. Maybe.
Yeah.
Was that the age to get a professional contract?
Yes, well, you could only sign professional football terms when you were 18. That was the ruling in those days.
Yeah. What did your dad say about that, becoming a footballer? Was he happy?
He didn't mind one way or another, as long as I was getting out and probably making a bob or two.
Yeah. And I imagine the wages must have been reasonable at 18, were they, compared to what you might have earned?
Oh yeah, I mean the wages were very small, of course, at the time, you know, because they were restricted with how much they could pay you, you know.
Yes. And so what are your memories, George, of being a professional at Edgeley Park? I mean, do you remember much about things like the training, and, you know, what was the training like at County?
Oh, the training was little or nothing. It was a matter of get your pumps on and start running around the ground, like, you know. Oh, it was the training was non-existent, really. That was it was stupid training, really, because really training today as well, it's got to be with the ball. Mm-hmm. It's no use. You do plenty of training without the ball, but the main training is with the ball. That's where they get the benefit of playing in a match, when you can deal with the ball safely, you know, run with the ball.
But that wasn't the case. You were not training with the ball.
No. We'd probably have one game a week between first and second teams, and that would be that. And I remember particularly, I was playing centre half and Lithgow was playing centre forward with the first team, and we didn't get on very well together, I'm afraid. He used to have all sorts of tricks where you'd jump up to head the ball, and Lithgow would just duck underneath you, you know, and you'd go over the top, and he'd probably get a foul for what he did. So we had one or two set twos, but we always got on well together after, like, you know.
Yeah, and I know you've told me that when you were in the war, you learned much more about...
Oh, heavens, yeah. When I was in the war, of course, I was a physical training instructor. I found out all the things that I should have been doing when I was playing. The manager at the time of England was Walter Winterbottom, and he took me under his skin, his skill, and wanted me to come on as much as possible. So that's where we trained with him at Birmingham.
And you took your coaching badges, didn't you, George?
I got the professional badges for coaching and training. So yeah.
Okay. And great. And tell me, George, the story of Jack Daniels and Billy Bocking when they were chasing each other in the snow.
Oh yeah. Well, Jack Daniels, the goalkeeper, he was he had a lovely mop of hair, and he used to love combing his hair, like, you know, and his mother used to look after him, like, you know, and he used to have shampoo and all sorts of things that we'd never heard of, like, you know, in those days. It was just carbolic soap that we used to use in the bath. So anyway, Bocking was there, and in the main bath we were all sitting around, and the goalkeeper wouldn't get his hair wet if he could possibly help it. And Bucky knew this, like, you know, so I remember he got a bucket, like, you know, and a cold water. He slung it over Daniels, and there was hell to play then, you know, and he ran. It was snow on the ground, you know, and Bucky had to run out to. Daniels was out, and he was out to get him, kind of style, you know. And Bucky went running across from corner to corner of the ground, and Daniels after him, you know.
And they were naked?
They were both naked, yeah. And the lads were up at the window, like, you know, watching this happen, you know. And it was a great fun, you know. It was. Everybody enjoyed it, like, and of course Daniels got over it eventually, but he was a good goalkeeper, Jack Daniels. He was quite good. But his mother used to look after him, and especially his hair. He had to have this shampoo for his hair.
Lovely story. Tell me about, George, when you, obviously, County got promoted in 1936.
Oh, yes, that was a great...
What do you remember of that season? You didn't play that year,
no,
but you were in the reserves that
That's
year.
right, I was, yeah. But it was wonderful to be in a higher league again, you know. That was where Stockport County should be, kind of style, you know.
Why do you think we got relegated after just one season, George?
Well, it was a matter of manager. It was Bob Kelly, and he was a manager, and he'd offered offered the players a bonus if they got into the higher league. But when we went to the Masonic Hall, Bucky went to him about this bonus, you know, and he swore blind he'd never offered it. So that was a rather bad do, that was.
Was that when they presented the trophy, when they presented the medals and the trophy?
That's right, yeah.
What do you remember of that night, George? Because that must have been a big occasion when they presented the 3rd Division North Shield.
Oh, yeah. It was very enjoyable, and I remember I was allowed to take a girlfriend at the time, so that's what she enjoyed.
Great. So everybody was able to bring a partner, including all the reserve players. So the whole club must have gone.
That's right. Yes, it was quite a big do, really.
Yeah, great. And they presented the shield that night, I think.
That's right.
They?
Yeah, they did. Yeah.
Oh, wow, fantastic.
But it was a good night out. That I enjoyed that.
Yeah, I believe there was a story that the players were promised a trip at the end of the season, and they ended up going to Pottswrigley, I think, or something. I believe they were promised some sort of a trip away.
Yeah,
and that never materialised either.
No, that was very weird, you know. It's a matter of take it and leave it.
Yeah. I think that's how it was in those days, though.
Oh, it was, yes. You had very little backing behind you, you know.
George, you told me a lovely story once about Billy Newton's Dutch oven on your leg when he burnt your leg. Tell me about that. What was the background and the story?
Well, it was I'd got this thigh injury, and he'd arranged for me to sit on the table, and he'd put this Dutch oven, what you call a Dutch oven on it, you know. I didn't know anything about these things, you know, and I think he didn't know much either, but he put it on and then went off doing something else, and he left me there, sat on the table with this Dutch oven still on, kind of stuff. So it burnt through the flesh, and there was quite a large portion of flesh burned through this Dutch oven. And he's saying, you know, well, why didn't you get off? I said, I didn't know how to turn it off. I said, I had to just put up with it, you know.
And are you still scarred to this day, George?
Yes, you can still see the white scar on my leg, you know, where the burn was, you know. That'll never go away, of course.
Wow, so this was meant to improve the situation, and it's left you with a scar.
Yeah.
90 or 80 years later.
Yeah.
So,
yeah.
So you won't forget that in a hurry.
Well, I don't forget it, I'll tell you.
Wow. And this thing just sat over your leg, and it was how was it set up?
Well, it was just electric lights inside that created the heat necessary to do the job, you know.
And was it covered in what was it? Just in a box, or what was
just
it?
In a box? Yeah, just in a box.
Blimey. And would you think this was a new experiment that he was trying?
Oh, it was obviously something new for Billy Newton to be trying. You know, something he'd thought up, like, you know, and was trying it out. And of course, it was me who was trying it out on.
That's great. So you were the guinea pig.
Pardon?
You were the guinea pig, George.
I must have been the guinea pig, yeah.
Crikey. Did he ever use it again after that?
I don't think so. I think that was a no-no, you know. Nobody would get under that again.
That's a lovely story, George. I love that.
Yeah.
So, what else? Oh, yeah. So tell me about, George, away trips away. I know you went as a reserve to some of the games. How did County travel to matches in those days, to away matches? Did you get on a bus or was it on the train?
It was one of the directors, Worsley. He had a business of coaches, and they used to pick the players up, like, you know, and take them to wherever they wanted to go and bring them back.
Yes. Did you go by train ever?
Yes, we went by train once, I remember. The Worsley took us to Guide Bridge, I think it was, and got on a train. I think it was. Can't remember where it was going, but it was up Scotland way.
Okay, maybe to the northeast.
Northeast, yeah.
Yeah, interesting. What happened there? What did you eat on the train, George?
Oh, they had a basket with food in, like, you know, and that's what we had. We had a basket on the way, and we used to pick those up at one of the stations on the way travelling, you know.
Oh, so like a kind of a picnic basket.
That's right,
that you'd pick up, and you'd eat on the train, would you?
Eat on the train, yeah.
Wow, how interesting. That's very fascinating. And you told me, George, a lovely story about Walter Lumby. And
yeah.
He'd been to the Manchester races, and he liked a few pints. What can you tell me of that?
Well, it was a Friday night, and it was before going on the train, like, you know, and I was going as a reserve, like, you know, and Lumby was playing, but he liked his beer, Lumby, of course, you know, and I wasn't very keen on drinking anyway. So anyway, during the match, like, you know, he'd played at left half, and he'd had a hell of a good game, you know. But when he came off the pitch at half time, he spewed his ring up, like, you know, he was in a terrible state. But
and this was from the previous night.
Yeah, this was the previous night. Yeah, and we got. I remember he played a wonderful game. Of course, you know, he must have been used to drinking and playing, you know, but something I wasn't used to. But I think we remember coming back. We stopped off in Manchester to have a couple of drinks, like, before we went back home. But I was on Guinness at the time, and I'd got to the stage where I was full up. I couldn't take any more. So he said, well, what you need to do is put a drop of port in it, you know, in your Guinness. That'll make it a nice drink. I said, oh, okay, I'll try that. But it didn't work. It didn't work on me.
Wow. So that was his suggestion.
Oh,
how to keep going was to mix your drinks, George.
Yeah, that's right. Yeah.
Wow. But he was a bit older than you, Walter, wasn't he?
Oh yeah. But I remember him getting a taxi and taking me home, like, you know, and living at the club on Langsale, like, and he got the keys off me, like, and opened the door and pushed me inside and pulled the door to, and that was that. He left me to it. And I think my dad found out, like, you know, that where I was. He took me upstairs to bed, like, you know, and looked after me for quite a while.
And then the following day, you were off to the match.
Oh yes, that was on the Saturday. You see, then, you know, was playing the match then.
What did the manager say? Did he notice? He must have known.
Oh, he did notice. He said, you're going into the manager's office on Monday morning. So that was that. We had to see the manager on Monday morning.
So you got to tell him off, basically.
Oh, God, tell him off, yeah.
So the manager must have known that he wasn't exactly, that Walter Lumbey had clearly a bit worse for wear, but he played a blinder.
Yeah, he did. It was unbelievable the way he played, you know. He played wonderful. And I closed my eyes a few times when he was going in these tackles, you know, during the game. But no, it was something he was used to, I suppose.
Yeah, that's the thing, isn't it? You're useful.
Yeah.
Because I know, George, you've told me about some of the kind of the social things that went on at County, and you've mentioned. I remember you mentioning to me about, like, the betting. That Joe Hill was a tic-tac man.
Oh, that's right. Yeah, Joe Hill had this going on. He shouldn't have been doing it because you're not supposed to have a job, you know, other than your football, you know. But he got away with it, you know. But
how did he get away with it, George? What happened? He was off to the races, was he?
Oh yes, he was. Used to go to Haydock a lot, like, you know, and do his business, like, you know, tic-tacky.
Did you used to go to races, or did you go to, you know?
Oh, I went occasionally, and we used to. Jimmy Smales was the only one that had a car in those days, so it was him that used to take quite a number of players, you know, through to Haydock and to watch the races, yeah.
And you told me, George, about the very tragic accident.
Oh yes, we had very little to drink, fortunately. So we were setting off on the I can't remember the name of the road now. It's a special road.
East Lancs.
The East Lancs Road, that's right, yeah. And unfortunately, this girl on the bike, and she had no lights on or anything, and we managed to hit her, like, you know, and it wasn't a very nice thing, I'll tell you. And the police came, like, you know, and they took all the particulars and that, you know, and then when it came to the funeral, you know, we were taken to the place where she was being buried, and yeah, it was very awkward. The father came and told us, you know, it wasn't our fault. He said, she's doing this all the time, you know. She was always in trouble with that, with the bike and no lights. So, but he was a wonderful fellow, really, you know, because he didn't really blame us at all.
That was very nice, decent of him.
Very sad.
Yeah. George, on a more lighter subject, I'd like to talk about one or two of the players that you played with, and I've got some photos, and I'd like you to tell me a little bit about this player, Billy Bockett. Alf Lithgow. Tell me about Alf.
Well, Alf Lithgow, he was. I could see that he was one of the best players I'd ever seen. Like, you know, and he was due to get on the England side. You know, I thought anyway. But it was a bit unfortunate that he broke his leg, and of course in those days, when you broke your leg, that was you finished in football. So it was very sad that. But he was a great player. I know I had quite a few tussles with him during training games. I was playing at centre half and he was playing at centre forward, and he used to give me a real run around. I managed to say to him that I'll bloody kill you the next time you do that. But,
what kind of a player was he? Because he was a small fella, wasn't he?
He was only small, and one of his tricks, really, you know, was to get underneath you, so that you couldn't do anything about it, kind of stuff. He was a crafty player, very crafty.
But a great goal scorer, George.
Oh yes, he knew his way on the pitch, I'll tell you.
That's lovely, George. Thank you for that. And I've got one or two other pictures. I'll just hand them to you one at a time. I don't know if you can, how easily you can see these, but this gentleman here is Billy Titterington. Do you remember Billy? Midfield player.
Titterington, yeah, that's right. I remember him. Yeah, Bill Tit. He was a good inside forward, you know. He knew his way, either at inside forward or at wing half, you know. He was very good, really.
What kind of a player was he, George? Do you remember?
No, not really. I don't remember much about his playing career.
Okay, no problem. George, I've got another one. I think you'll remember this gentleman because you were very much of a similar age. This is Dougie Reid.
Oh, Dougie Reid, yeah. I remember Dougie well because when he came to Stockport County, he was supposed to be a defender, and it didn't work out like that. You know, they managed to find out that he had ability in front, like, and he became one of the best centre forwards we'd had for a long time. Yeah, Dougie Reid, and yeah.
He was a young lad.
He was only young, and he just arrived kind of style, you know. And but as I say, you know, once they found out his capabilities in the forward position, you know, that's what he became. He became one of the best centre forwards they'd had, I think, for a long time.
Yes. And were you good friends of Dougie? Did you used to go around with Dougie?
Yes, we went around quite a lot. You know, there was I don't know whether he was one of the directors or not, or whether he was just part of the setup. You know, but there used to be a greyhound track at Hazel Grove, and we used to like to go to this
Keep going, yeah. Tell me about that, George, when you went to Hazel Grove.
Oh yes, went to Hazel Grove, and we'd been given tips and that sort of thing. But the bloke said, he said, don't overdo it. He said, just put a small amount on and leave it at that. I said, okay. So we had quite a few winners, I'll tell you.
And was this someone at County who knew? Was he the vet or something?
He was the vet, yeah, vet at the greyhound track, yeah.
Was he a County fan?
Oh yes, a great County fan. You could tell that. That's why he invited us up and gave us these tips, kind of style, you know, because of his connection with County.
Right, and he knew the winners.
Oh yeah, he knew what was on the cards. I think there was something fishy going on, like, but I never found out what it was.
You just took the winnings. That's good.
Yeah.
George, I've got another picture here, and that is of Len Jones.
Oh, Len, yeah. Yeah. Oh, wonderful centre half, this guy. He always used to stay up on his feet on a tattle, and he'd just force his way through by staying on his feet, kind of style, you know. He was a wonderful centre. Yeah.
And he lived in Rill, George.
Yeah, he lived in Wirral, and I remember one summer he took me to see his mother, and we were supposed to be getting ourselves a job in a summer job or something, but that never materialised either.
So that was you needing to get work. So even Len Jones, as a professional
Oh,
footballer,
yeah.
and one of the, he was one of the top players in the team, but he had to get a job in the summer.
He had to do something in the summer to make a bit of extra cash, you know. Yeah. Those were some funny days in those days. You didn't have all your own way, you know.
And I know, George, that you were you stood in for somebody at the union, the players' union. Tell me about that. You went to Manchester.
Well, Joe Hill was the representative for Stockport in the Players and Traders Union, and he was away at the races somewhere at one period, and he asked me to go to this meeting, you know, which I did do. You know, it's a Manchester Royal Hotel, I think it was, that we went to, and they were very, very cagey. They kept the reporters out, and and then they had another check-up while they were in, and they found out that one of the reporters had sneaked the way in, and they had to get him thrown out, you know. But I remember two of the City players, you know, that had the job of kicking him out onto the pavement.
Wow. Do you remember who they were? Was that which players? Do you remember?
Brooks was one, and I think Frank Smith was the other one. Like, you know, the two of them there, you know, were glad to get rid of him, like in that sort of way.
Yeah. So it must have been an important meeting then, George. What were they talking about? Wages?
Well, they were talking about wages. They were after more money, of course, you know, but there wasn't much chance of that, getting the extra money, but they were going to have a do about it, and they said like, you know, that there's going to be a players' strike if we don't get what we want, you know, but as I say, it never materialised. So.
No. But you must have been a very young man when you were representing, so you were young then.
Oh, I was back very young, yeah. I was very surprised at what was going on, like, you know, because the players from every team in the country were there at this particular meeting.
Yeah, and of course in Manchester was the headquarters, wasn't it, of
it
is today, of the Professional Footballers Union.
Yeah, I believe so, yeah.
Still in Manchester.
Yeah.
Interesting. Got another couple of pictures, George. This is Freddie Jenkinson. Remember Freddie?
Oh, yeah.
He was a fullback.
Yeah. There was two of them, wasn't there? One of their brother. No, maybe not.
Maybe there were. Maybe he did have a brother at County. You might well have done.
Yeah. I had the feeling that there was another Jenkinson, you know. But I might be wrong, but good fullback, good dependable player. Yeah.
Okay, and then I think this one is a very special one. This is the last picture. This is Billy Bocking.
Oh yeah.
What do you remember of Billy?
Oh, Billy is. Everybody looked up to him, to Billy. And yeah, he was a damn good captain, you know. He was a very, very safe player, and I think he went to Everton at one period playing, but it didn't last long, I don't think. The Everton. Yeah.
He did go to Everton, you're right, and then he came back and he captained the team.
That's right.
In 1937, but he was quite a tough player, I believe.
Oh yes, yeah, very hard. I tell you, didn't want to get mixed up with him. I'll tell you.
So he was no nonsense.
Oh no, he was a great player, very strong.
Lovely. And you told me a story, George, about Bob Still I think a reserve match where he got involved in a bit of bother. Was it at Runcorn or somewhere?
Oh, that's right. Yeah. Somebody had upset him in the crowd, you know, and he's gone over the top and saw the culprit, like, you know, give him a good hiding. Oh yeah, I remember that, Bob still, yeah.
So he climbed over the barrier.
Climbed over the barrier, yeah, and got stuck into this bloke.
Wow. What, did you have to go and drag him off, or what happened?
Oh well, we had to see that he was safe, like, you know. He wasn't being attacked. So that's the way it went, you know.
Was this after the match, or?
No, during the match. Yeah.
So that's a bit like Eric Cantona.
It's very much like that, yeah.
Wow. Was Bob like that? Was he quite a hot-headed?
Oh no, he was nothing like that, Bob. He was the quietest player you could ever wish to meet. Yeah.
So he must have been provoked.
Oh yeah, definitely. You know, he wasn't having any nonsense, I'll tell you.
Okay. I'd like to have seen that.
Bob still.
Yeah, he was part of the team, wasn't he?
Oh yeah.
So George, I mentioned to you, we've been drawn against Lancaster in the league.
Oh
in the FA
that's
Trophy. In
wonderful,
2 weeks' time, we play Lancaster.
Yeah.
Tell me about your time at Lancaster.
Well, what happened there, that they'd written to me and wanted me to play for them, you know. And I got in touch with them back, you know, and said, I'll play for you if you teach me a trade. And I didn't think anything had come of it, but they said, yes, we've got a director here that has a loom spinning company business in Lancaster. He said he'll find you a job and put you to work. I said, oh well, that's good. That's the end, getting near the end of my career, you know, and I wanted something to fall back on, you see. So that was.
And what position did you play? Were you player manager?
No. I did a bit of coaching and training with the players, you know, but nothing more or less, you know.
But you played?
But I played regularly with them, you know. And, they had quite a good season while I was there, you know, so they did very well. They got to the well on in the cup. And
that was at the Giant Axe.
That was at the Giant Axe, yeah. I remember that.
Was that was immediately after the Second World War?
Yes, that's right. Yeah.
So you'd finished at Morecambe.
Yeah.
As a PT instructor.
That's right.
And then it was quite close then, Lancaster.
Yeah, well, somebody had got to, you know, had seen me playing at Morecambe and knew my capabilities, you know, and that's why they tried to get my signature, you know.
Great. We'll finish there, George. Thank you.
Yeah.
That's lovely.